and Catherine. I think, Catherine, do we let her record, or it's Kate, isn't it? Okay, all right, enjoy your meditation with Tony, Venerable Tony, the one and only.
Everything okay? I wouldn't know. I'm just wondering to make sure, to find out if they can hear me, to make sure.
Oh, they did ask me to give you a thumbs up.
Okay. Could you give us a thumbs up if you can hear?
Yeah, can hear you, Venerable Tony. No worries.
Oh, thanks, Derek. Okay.
We can hear you, Tony.
Oh, that's good, because good to know that now and not realise 5 minutes before the end that no one heard anything. That can happen, can't it? So then again, with their meditation session in 2 parts. The first part, using the breath to focus the mind. And second part, focused around analytical meditation, focused around the text. And today, around the subject of the self-cherishing mind and its disadvantages. Geshe-la probably most of the time, most teachings, he mentioned something about self-cherishing mind. But a certain session last week, can't remember which day, he did talk about it more, mentioning that term, self-cherishing mind, quite a few times. So then in the main body of the meditation, the second part of this meditation, then to focus on the shortcomings of the self-cherishing mind. So then with the first part of the meditation, the focusing on the breath, is the idea is to use your breath as a way to keep yourself in the present moment and to keep the mind focused, particularly with the idea that with this quality of mind, best able to use that focus to be able to engage in the second part of the meditation, analytical meditation on the shortcomings of the self-cherishing thought. And then also as well from this, that our mind is best prepared for when we receive the teachings today, and then in discussion group and tutorial class, if you attend these. So then to sit comfortably in a posture which is conducive for feeling comfortable, but is also conducive for the mind remaining focused and alert. And if you already have a method, then to employ that method, a method that you use to settle your mind, to use that. Otherwise, can use a method of observing the breath, or the sensation of the breath as it passes in through the nostrils and passes out. And as best as possible, just to remain there, focused on the sensation of the air coming in and coming out. And remembering we're only doing this for a short period of time. So then, because it's only a short period of time, we can, so idea, apply effort to remain there for this short period of time. And when the distractions arise in the form of the thoughts, of memories and plans for the future, and other distractions like sounds inside the room, outside, just to note these. And to sense they're a little bit like bubbles rising to the surface of a pond. They rise and they abide, and you allow them to return back into the water. So similar here, the thoughts arise, they abide, not buy into them, not try to crush them, not try to force them out of the mind, and at the same time, not allowing them to seize hold of your mind, not get swept away, just to note them. And then to bring the mind back to the breath. That's our business here, is with diligence, relaxed diligence, to keep the mind focused on the breath, while at the same time remaining alert to the different distractions. And when you become aware that your mind's become distracted away, just to gently bring it back once more to the breath. Just continuously engage in that process. So, like that for the first part of the meditation. So then, with this main part of the meditation session, subject of a self-cherishing mind, and when referring here to the self-cherishing mind and the shortcomings of the self-cherishing mind, to get some sort of clarity first, in that there is a quality of mind that we could say is a self-nurturing, self-caring state of mind. And even if we use the word self-cherishing, it is still a type of mind that is not necessarily negative, because we could say even the very fact of us coming here could have been based on, most likely it's based on self-nurturing, the wish to become a better person. We may be focused on ourselves as a wish to become a better person, and His Holiness often says this is appropriate, and even uses the words wise self-cherishing. If you're going to be self-cherishing, why not be wise self-cherishing, in that with this mind of wanting one's own happiness, you do it in such a way that really brings about the causes for your fulfillment and happiness. For instance, we come here, and we even might create virtuous deeds, positive actions in relation to others, with an attitude of wanting to gain one's own freedom from samsara. So that could be seen to be self-cherishing also, self-nurturing, but still positive, because it benefits you and it benefits others. But then the state of mind that we're talking about here to reflect on in our own life, and it's important here, if we can get a sense of it, it can bring about a radical change in our mind, in that instead of always blaming outside, we start to see how much of our life, how much of our life's problems come from our own obsession with me and my rights. So in relation to this self-cherishing mind we're talking here, this is a quality of mind that so fixated on oneself that you become indifferent to the rights and needs of others. In order to get what you want, you neglect others. And then not only that, it becomes a state of mind that in order to get what you want, you walk all over others. You create negative actions in relation to others. And create suffering for yourself and others. So it's important to distinguish those two types of, say, self-focused minds. So in this meditation, we're very much focused on this second one. And the idea with the meditation, really like all these meditations, you need to make it a personal experience of how it is in your life, to experience how it is in your life, how often the problems have come due to this self-cherishing mind. And so then just thinking in some of these things, best if you can see it in relation to yourself. You can see it in relation to others, but if you focus so much on others, you just end up saying they're very self-centered. So it's better to see where oneself is a source of problems for oneself and others. So self-cherishing mind is a quality of mind that has kept us focused, fixated, obsessed with oneself since beginningless time, and even in this life. Very often from the moment we wake up in the morning, right through to the night time, the day can be spent fixated on me and my problems. So how often is that like that? You wake up, me, my problems, in the form of worrying about what other people think of us, being obsessed that we said this, it wasn't right, being worried that other people won't love us, thinking that we're not appreciated, there's not enough gratitude shown, anxiety about our own imminent possible failure at something. The mind becomes completely obsessed. It's after one thing after another. Due to the self-cherishing mind, we become obsessed with things and generate anxiety in our mind. And you become so fixated even on your appearance. Some people are so fixated on the appearance of their nose, for instance, how it looks, or their hair, or whatever. I must change that. And then through self-cherishing mind, out of that is also generated, kept us caught, trapped with one fear after another. It's the basis of self-cherishing that we have fear, different fears of what other people will think of us, fear of failure, fear of this going to happen, fear of that going to happen to us. And then due to the self-cherishing mind, we perform acts of harm, acts with our body, speech and mind. The body, we kill people, kill animals, disregard their rights, steal, engage in sexual misconduct, adultery, and so on, without considering our partner or someone else's partner. And then with self-cherishing mind, we use our speech to hurt others. We spiteful, hurtful speech, and then deceitful speech, lying, in order to take advantage of others. And so this in turn leads us to experience more suffering, because we create a habit to do it more in the future, and also we create the karma to experience the result of those actions. And then in this life, if we're experiencing difficulties, if we're experiencing health problems, it's a karmic result of in the past, harming the lives of others. And you can see generally motivated by self-cherishing, what I want. Doesn't matter about the other person. Experiencing poverty problems is due to disregarding the possessions of others, stealing or having mind of miserliness leads to this result of poverty now. And that has been generated on the mind of self-cherishing. And if you're the sort of person who constantly has disharmony in the life, in terms of relationships, particularly intimate relationships, but relationships with others in general, then possibility in the past of creating disharmony in relationships, of engaged in sexual misconduct, adultery, these arising out of the self-cherishing mind. And then the self-cherishing mind is behind, in most cases, the conflict we have with others. Sure, it might be true that the other person's creating problems. But it's due to our self-cherishing mind that we fixate on our rights and are unable to see the other person's point of view and their rights. So this morning, in all those divorce courts in the different regional areas of Australia, you see the two partners and they're bitterly opposed to each other. How often is it really the reality is that both sides are obsessed with what they should have, what's right, and the injustice of the other person, and an inability to see the other person's point of view. And then self-cherishing, the conflicts between countries, the wars that have been taking place for centuries upon centuries. These are generally, you see how they come from a national sense of self-cherishing, a group energy, our rights, and disregard the rights of the people of another nationality. It's behind the idea of extreme nationalism, of the activities of the Nazis, arisen out of self-cherishing, our rights, what we have. We are the chosen race. And then the self-cherishing mind also in our life, we see, it's due to self-cherishing mind that we continually blame other people for our situation. Always the mind fixates on the idea that the other person is the source of the problem. Never it applies and turns the intelligence inward to see how we can contribute to the problem. So blames others. And in so doing, it blocks us from developing the skill, the ability to be able to take responsibility for how we create the different problems in our life. And then also self-cherishing is behind the sense of guilt. We arise in our mind, guilt for the things that we've done in the past, and negative things we'll do in the future. We develop a sense of guilt. Because first off, we do the negative actions based on a lack of consideration for others. But then on top of that, we fixate, having done the negative action, how bad I am. We add something additional on. We make a big deal out of the thing we've done, which in turn leads to the irony of self-loathing and self-hatred. And then self-cherishing as well leads us to be indifferent to others, so that when there are people come into our life, we have a human life with its potential. We have this potential as a human being. If we use it, to use our intelligence, to develop the sensitivity, to be able to see where others are undergoing difficulty, and reach out to them to be a support. But because we're fixated with ourselves, we do not pick up, we're not interested in the pain of others. We don't see our job, our business in life is to serve others and to remove their suffering. And then because we are indifferent to others and we don't reach out to them when you can sense, if you were sensitive to it, you could help. We deprive ourselves of the possibility of relieving our own suffering by generating a sense of connectedness with others, a sense of brotherhood or sisterhood with other beings. And then with self-cherishing mind, it blocks us. It's blocked us from creating virtue, to create the causes, to follow the spiritual path, to understand the teachings, because our mind is obsessed with ourselves, and thereby create the causes to attain lasting happiness and fulfillment through cultivation of compassion and wisdom. So we have the opportunity to reduce the self-cherishing mind and awaken within ourselves the attitude of cherishing others. By understanding every single opportunity we have with others as an opportunity to create virtue, by generating a concern for others and then acting in accordance with that, cherishing others. Understanding that all beings, other beings, are the source of our happiness. They provided us with the body that we have now. They provide us with the food we have, with the clothing, with the education, with the meaningful relationships. So we should cherish others. If we cultivate a mind of cherishing others, it means wherever we go, whoever we're dealing with, the time, place, person, we can feel happy within ourselves, and we can provide happiness and joy to others. The Lama, like the Lamas do, like Lama Yeshe did, like Geshe-la here, by an attitude of cherishing others. And with this mind of cherishing others, we will go from a place of darkness or light to a place of more light. The pathway to enlightenment. So then, in conclusion, to dedicate whatever positive results have arisen from engaging in this practice to whatever, even if it's a small amount, to lessen the mind of self-cherishing by really understanding how much this is the source of our problems, really adopting that perspective rather than that perspective that's encouraged in general in society, and particularly this day and age in the West, the idea of victim. You know, if there's a victim, I'm a victim. If you're a victim, then there has to be a perpetrator. And the view that the other person is like the enemy. So this is a different attitude. It starts to see others in a good light and starts to give us the opportunity, the wonderful opportunity to seize hold of every opportunity as a way to lessen obsession with self and develop a concern for others. Okay, so thank you.
Great. Thank you, Venerable Tony.